So, for many of you who currently are losing sports bettors or you're just beginning, you want to know the secret to becoming a winning sports bettor? It starts with one thing first, and that's training your mind. So, today I'm going to cover 5 ways that you can train your mind to become a winning sports bettor. So, thanks for joining me today. I started my channel to help people to learn how to bet sports better, to improve their results, and ultimately become more comfortable betting on sports and hopefully winning betting on sports. So, today I wanted to talk to you about 5 ways that you can train your mind to think like a winning sports bettor. Amateur sports bettors, new sports bettors, losing sports bettors think in many terms that are different from those of the way that winning sports bettors think. So you need to train your mind and change the way that you think about things in order to really get to that next level and put anything else that you learn into practice. So today I'm going to start off with point one, and that is don't buy dreams. So, what do I mean when I buy dreams? When you're betting a high risk, high reward bet, you know the odds are against you. If you watch my videos on how to calculate the house edge on parlays, you'll already know this. But in general, the more high reward, high risk bets can tend to have higher house advantage. So when you bet that future for your favorite football team to win the Super Bowl, when you bet that 8 team same game parlay and you post it to Reddit sports betting forums, you are buying a dream. You're paying money, extra money than you would just betting normally, in order to bet that and have that dream of that high payout. So this also comes with how much money you're investing in sports betting and what you expect your goals to be. So a winning sports bettor, a professional sports bettor, they're going to tend to be relatively reasonable about what they expect for how much money they're putting in. So, for example, they wouldn't have a bankroll of $500 and think that they're going to walk away at the end of the year up 10,000, up 20,000, up 100,000. It's just not reasonable. It's a dream that you have, and the most likely result of you trying to get there with your $500 is for you to lose your $500. Winning bettors tend to have smaller, meaningful goals, which they try to achieve over time. So, can I beat the close on 60% of my games in this upcoming baseball season? Can I get a 30% return of my bankroll in a year? Maybe even a 100% return. And so, if you're sitting there with a bankroll of $10,000, and at the end of the year you had $20,000, that's a great goal. That's better than any return that you would get in financial markets. And it really speaks to your ability to win at sports to get there. But to the average retail bettor, they're going to say, okay, I had 500, now I have 1,000. So that's not really that great. But 100% return is an awesome goal to achieve. It's an awesome goal to meet, and you do that for 20 years, you're going to end up with a lot of money. So really, thing one of how winning bettors think versus how losing bettors thinks is this right here: they don't buy dreams. So moving on to our next item, and that's to train your mind to think in odds instead of outcomes. So losing bettors tend to think of things as storylines. So, I believe this team, I build a story in my head about, you know, Patrick Mahomes is going to have a great day. It's going to be a shootout. They're going to throw for 300 yards or greater, both the quarterbacks, a high scoring game. Really not based on any evidence, really just based on their own feeling and their own sort of understanding of games. Winning bettors instead are going to think of odds and numbers of, when you combined the defenses of the team, what are the secondaries like? What is the skill ratings of the quarterbacks? And what probability do I think will result in a game that's over 50 points, or Kansas City winning by more than 10. And they sort of start with that question. Really, it's what question are you trying to answer? And this is where a lot of losing bettors fall short, is they really think of things in very simple questions. What's a good team? What's a bad team? I want to bet on good teams. I don't want to bet on bad teams. Alabama's great at football and Massachusetts horrible. So I'm not going to bet on Massachusetts. Whereas your winning gambler, your more professional gambler, he's going to look at that and come up with the odds of, how often do I think that Massachusetts will, lose by more than 36 points versus lose or even win the game. So really training your mind to think of things as uncertainties that we can handicap based on probabilities, rather than thinking in terms of binary outcomes or storylines, is really one of the best things you can do. And even if you're not someone who can necessarily pick winning games at the moment, when you go to bet, you'll at least have a degree of reserve that you won't be really overcommitted based on kind of the story you've invented and the outcome you've invented. So I really find this to be one of the most helpful items on the list. And for me, as I was beginning the transition from really a novice sports bettor to a very much more experienced one, was training my mind to think in odds and not in outcomes and not in binaries. There is no good or bad. There's worse or better. And how that interacts with the odds is what you have to determine to really win at sports betting. So number 3, don't pack. So losing bettors, especially when they lose, they tend to chase. So this could mean, I lost 5 bets on the NFL Sunday. It's impossible to lose 5 bets in a row, so I'm going to bet more on Monday night to catch up. It used to be a lot more of a case when, people bet on credit. It's a little less prominent now, but really the idea remains. The losing gambler, ironically, is less able to handle losses than the more seasoned professional type gambler would. And it really pervades every aspect of their life often. They lose, they have a bad day betting, and, it's a bad mood for a week, or it's a bad mood for a month. You take it out on other parts of your life. And you're really not comfortable with the fact you lost, even though that's what really you should expect when you're betting. So winning gamblers tend to treat this a little bit differently. I mean, to be honest, I've been on, at this point, close to a 6-month losing streak. And how I treat that is I look at what I'm doing and I'm saying, I've won doing this in the past. When I look at line movement, when I look at closing line values, when I look at the mix of the bets I made, am I still doing everything the same? And if the answer is yes, then you go back and you say, well, I won for 4 or 5 years doing it this way. This season's a little bit of an outlier. There's statistical ways that you can look at the results of your bets and say, even though it lost, was it a good bet? But that's how, I don't lose any sleep over it. It doesn't affect my life. I'm not in a terrible mood all the time. I mean, obviously I'm here talking to you. So that's the way that winners handle that. And they don't chase. They don't try to get the money back. They accept it as loss and they move on. And really the question is, what can I do better to prevent this more in the future? So you want to win at sports betting? Don't pack. And so coming to item 4 on our list, and that is to focus on process. Do not focus on results. So losing sports bettors tend to have a really short-term mentality. I've won 20 of, I've gone 18-2 on my last 20 bets. I'm great at this. I'm wonderful at sports betting. I should open a tout service. People should pay me for picks because my picks are that good. And that sort of quickly snaps them back to reality when they lose, when that winning streak eventually ends and the losing streaks begin, and suddenly it's, well, nobody can win at this and everything like that. But really the underlying probabilities of your bets and your results never really changed along the way. It's just that sometimes fortune smiles on you and sometimes it frowns. And that's a fact of life, it's a fact of gambling. The sooner you accept this, then the better you'll do. So, winning sports bettors really understand that in the short term, really it's luck. I mean, if I'm making 20 bets and I should win, 55% of them, there's still a significant chance that I'm going to lose. Like not even like 25%. It's greater than that. Didn't run the numbers on it exactly, but that's okay. You understand the point. So the winning gambler looks at how they bet, what was the closing line value, what were the odds that I got, what is my mix of things, and they focus on that, and they focus on how can I pick better, how can I calculate this odds better. Maybe my model doesn't cover this. How can I account for it so that I'm no longer missing that factor and can make a more accurate position? To my friends that are more of the trader type who are looking at the odds and hitting off market numbers, maybe it's how can I get lines quicker, how can I bet quicker, how can I take advantage of mispricings like that. So there's always ways that you can do better, and the winning gambler focuses on that. That's really the focus. It's not necessarily the games themselves and what's going on. It's more of what is my process, how can my process be better, and that'll lead me to winning long term. So that really is how you can get better. And really, one of the key things that I do is I actually, after every season and before every other season, I look back at how I did for that particular season, and I try to think of, how can I do things a little bit better? So, being it's the end of summer, NFL's on the way, college football's on the way. So, I've spent weeks really examining my models and saying, I bet too many underdogs and too many unders last year. So, what could be something that could be leading me to bet that? And let me adjust for that in the models. Run the back tests. Looking good, so I'm excited for those 2 seasons, but in the end, even if I don't win, it'll still be information that I can glean to make my process better, and we'll get there eventually. You have to be patient with this. It's not something where you're going to become a billionaire overnight betting sports. If it was, there wouldn't be sports books and there'd be a lot of billionaires. So, want to win at sports, want to be a better sports bettor, focus on your process, not on your results. And so for our last item for today, number 5, also very important, accept the truth. So winning sports bettors, they know the house edge, they know the odds, they know what bets to make, what bets not to make based on the house advantage, the hold, and everything like that. So inexperienced bettors tend to ignore this. The mentality in a lot of them seems to be, I know sports, so it's easy to pick winners. And there's a lot of ignorance in that thought. I mean, the truth is, I don't know why you think you're special, because there's, 100,000 other guys who know a lot about sports who are also betting. And again, they're not all winning. If they were, there wouldn't be sports books and there wouldn't be sports betting. So obviously it's a little bit more difficult than this. I mean, it's had conversations with other people I've had where they've said, well, blackjack's really easy to win money at. Really? Is it? Because, they wouldn't let you bet on it if it was. So it's obviously not true. So losing gamblers kind of stay in that ignorance. And I've talked to people who've been betting for 20 years, 30 years, and it's still the same level of understanding of it. They haven't really gained anything through all the experience they've had. All the losing really has been for nothing, because they're going to continue to lose. But a winning gambler won't do that. They accept the truth that what they're doing can have negative outcomes. They do everything they can to get away from those negative outcomes. One of the things also is sort of an appreciation I've found in a lot of people who win at sports betting of the complexity and the difficulty in it. There's really kind of beauty to the underlying odds. And a lot of winning gamblers tend to think like that. A lot of losing ones don't. And the other thing is that winning gamblers really accept what they don't know and they try to figure it out. I don't I don't know this, but let me go to the data. Let me try to figure out how it interacts with things and kind of go from there. So I hope that this is helpful for you. I hope it helps you to really train your mind to be a winning sports bettor. It really starts with that. No matter what else you could do, what else you could learn, really you have to start here. And even if you're not there yet, you're just betting for fun, but you want to do a little bit better, start thinking in these terms. Maybe that team where you would say, I don't think that team's ever going to win anything, maybe there's a right price for you to be there. And once you start thinking like that, you'll only grow, your results will only get better. It's the first step, really, to climbing this mountain to improving yourself. So, thanks for watching. I really appreciate you all. I don't really have many people to talk to in person about this, so I really appreciate the ability to record these videos. Please like and subscribe if you can. Really would help the channel. Love to keep bringing you this content. I hope it helps. Have a great day. Thanks again.